I was actually scratching a ticket. Can I walk out back?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, that's just I communicate with that.
It's not just ghosts. It's not just cryptozoology or aliens. It's all of it.
And what are we doing today, Matt?
Almost sound like Chewbacca. It's like, you guys want to do a little beatbox live? Oh man, I pushed the button like 3 times and it still blacked me out. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Banter with Richie B podcast, and we are on the Get Haunted Network. Check it out. Crazy, right? So yeah, I was just in a panic, right? Oh wait, it's almost her last name. I was talking with Crystal all back, and we, conversing, and I'm like, oh, it's like 30 seconds. I gotta go. I love when that happens, though. That's when it's like great conversation and good flow, right? What we got for comments? Yo, what's up, Courtney Peterson? What you jumping in so early for? Hi everyone, welcome. Please share and enjoy the show. Well, thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that. It's very kind. That's my dudette right there. Courtney Peterson, program director of the Get Haunted Network, the P3 platform. We are a bunch of podcasters talking about the paranormal and the cryptids, the cryptid world. And speaking of the cryptid world, I got my waves at every. All right, Bree. Bree, I thought you didn't drink. Waves at every obey. Did I miss something? I missed something. Everybody obey. That's pretty cool. So I forgot to ask if I'm saying her name right. I think I already did once. Panic. Crystal is here from the BFRO. She's got some pretty cool stuff that she sent in now that I can't wait to talk to her about, because I'm super stoked, right? Because here's my favorite conversation in the whole world. Typo. I got yelled at already. Whoa, that's a new record, man. That's like 2 minutes in, and I got it handed to me. All right, that's good. I know you are here on time. You are officially off punishment. All right? You can now watch TV after 9. You are welcome. So yeah, so Crystal's here. And I am just, like I said, everybody knows I don't do the research on my guests. I don't want to. I kind of want it to flow. I want it to be natural. I just don't do that. So it's just something I've always, ad lib is the way to go for me. Just having natural conversation. I think that's the best. I always enjoy my conversations and interactions out in public when I just talk to somebody and we just start flowing, right? Or even people you've known, and then all of a sudden you're on a different avenue and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? So, yep. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Crystal come up, because I like doing that now, and then have everybody say hi to me and to Crystal together, as opposed to me going on this 15-minute thing I used to do, because I was so nervous if I ever had enough time. I was like, oh my God, what if I don't have enough to say? But obviously I have plenty to say. So I should have known better, right? It's never a problem when you're me. Yes. Well, thank you, Wojo, for bringing up my skinny. Thank you. Yes. I'm down a little over 20 pounds and still sore as hell. And it hasn't helped the old, not one bit. No, I'm just kidding. It actually has. My back doesn't hurt as much, stuff like that. So yeah, thank you, sir. I was early on purpose. Yeah, but you still didn't win. Sorry, you didn't win. Bree was here first, waving us. So, yeah, nice try. Bree, you win. You get to stay up past 10 and watch TV now. Huh? So, awesome. I love my audience. I love my friends. So, I'd like everybody to welcome my guest tonight. Yeah, that's true. I've noticed that, too, because I haven't won. Yeah, I got it. Never mind. Moving on. So, I'm going to welcome Crystal to the stage, and we're just going to get into it, man. We're going to have some great times. You know what I mean? Yeah, she did wave it at Everobe. I wish I knew. Is Everiobe? Is that a Star Wars character? Perhaps that could be a Star Wars character. Let's ask Crystal. Crystal, is Everiobe a Star Wars character?
It might be. I think it could be.
Or is it just a typo and I'm being a jerk now? Yeah, it probably could be. Welcome, Crystal, to Banter with Richie B podcast. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, and it should be a character. So these are my audience members. A lot of them are very faithful, and they all have a bunch of great questions all the time. So once we get rolling, man, they're gonna start asking. I'm like, man, some of the questions they ask, I'm like, yeah, let me look it up. I'm over here Googling. When you get an audience that makes you Google, you got the right audience. You know what I mean?
It's a good resource.
I think so. You know, Google is, and so isn't my audience. You know what I mean? Right?
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Everybody say hi to Crystal, please. Thank you. They did. Here they go. Oh, here it comes. There they go. Hi, Crystal. This is Wojo. He's usually here with me. Oh, Mary Newbird. Hi, Mary. Love you. That's my sister. And Bree and Cy. And Claude was here earlier. He could be back. When Claude comes in, you better watch out because he got me turned on to the Giants. How do you feel about the Giants?
I'm not a huge fan, but my husband is a New York. He's a New York fan.
Yeah, not the New. I was going to say not the New York Giants because I know he's watching the Mets. I'm talking about the red-haired Giants.
Oh, the red. I'm thinking New Jersey.
I know. No.
You did that
That's
on purpose.
my fault. I kind of did because he's watching the Mets in the background, guys. All right. So when I threw out the Giants, I should have clarified.
I'm thinking Giants.
Yeah, we don't discuss those Giants here. Okay. We just don't do that. No. Hi, Mike. Thank you for coming. Sam's Pretty Paranormal. Make sure you check it out. Yeah, you guys. So listen, like and subscribe to my YouTube. And also, anybody else here that has a YouTube, as you know, on my show, you're more than welcome to put it in the comments and I will share it up on the screen. So that's how we do things here. We all help each other out. It's all about networking and being good humans. So that's where I'm at. So Arthur Mills is here. Hey, Arthur, how you doing? Arthur was here for my pre-show. All right. So they're all going to say, oh, we got another crystal. Look at all the crystals coming in. Look at this. What do you know? Crystal, did you set this up beforehand? What's going on?
I did. They're all getting $10 each.
$10. Bigfoot dollars. Bigfoot dollars. Well, good. I'm glad you're here because, I think we had planned this a while ago, because you got to clear your schedule or whatever the case might be. But I kind of want to get into it like right away because, when you do this, you start thinking in your head, what are you going to ask, right? Well, what I do is I shut that down. I don't allow that to happen. I'm like, no, get away from me. You know what I mean? Because I don't want things to seem robotic in a sense. You know what I mean? And no offense to anybody that does that. We're all different. You know what I mean? Hey, Rich Valdez is here. Hello, my friend. Make sure you put up your information so everybody can see where to find you. Okay. So you've been from New Hampshire your whole life, correct?
I was born in upstate New York.
Okay, upstate New York.
Yep, and I traveled around a lot with my dad. He, go to different jobs and things like that. So we would move a lot, and gotcha. Probably in the early 80s, we settled in New Hampshire. So I've just been here pretty much forever. So
yeah,
this is my home.
Now, I understand. I do one thing I couldn't help but hear is you had I believe you were a young girl and had an experience with Sasquatch.
I did.
Was that New Hampshire or New York?
That was in New York, upstate New York, in Oswego.
Okay.
I did have an encounter. I can. Just
you don't have to.
I will. No, I'll share it.
Okay.
I actually a couple months ago went to Minnesota and filmed a regression session, hypnosis regression session with my brain's not going to work, but it was for Legend. It's for the new upcoming Legend Meet Science 2.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I don't know what they're going to share. It was a 6-hour session of me crying uncontrollably.
I empathize with that 100%. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that I have someone here going through a lot of that right now. So at home, going over something. So all right. So do we want to be careful so we don't upset anybody?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to share. It is only going to be like a 2-hour special, and my whole my whole thing was like 6 hours. So we had to break it up into 2 different sessions because I had a panic attack.
Yeah.
Mid
Sorry
hypnosis
mid.
session, but
No, that could trigger a lot of things, and I didn't know that happened, so I didn't mean to tap into anything.
Nope, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but I know
but
your story was quite remarkable. That's why I'm asking, and I do know like some things. I just don't, dive deep into them. And like when somebody's telling me stuff, I'm like, okay, we talk about something else because I know you're going to be my guest one day. So I was like, I don't want to know everything. You know what I mean? So if you don't mind, maybe just touching around the edges, if that's okay.
Sure. It was 1978. We lived in a trailer in upstate New York. There were 3 little trailers in this little place, I think I sent you a picture too, and I don't know if you'll share that later, but where it's located in upstate New York. I get anxious when I tell it, so if I start doing a lot of hand movements and stuff, I apologize. But
if you need to stop, you just stop, and we go on to a next subject. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable in any way at all. You know what I mean?
That's fine. But we had come home one night, and we were walking into the trailer, and my mom had noticed that the front door was broken. Or no, we had walked in and the back door was broken. Sorry, I get anxious. So we walked in the house, the back door was busted. And she rushed us back out to the car, and she called the sheriff. The sheriff came out, and they went inside and determined that nothing had been stolen. And where it was my twin and I, so our bedroom was directly across, like almost kitty corner across from where that busted door was. I was on the top bunk. My twin was on the bottom bunk. We had gone to bed. The hall light was on, and I don't know how my mom closed that door. I don't even know. But I woke up to my sister just going, Crystal, Crystal. And I sat up, and there was this large, hairy thing standing in the doorway.
Whoa.
I was so scared that I couldn't go in front of the bed to go down to her bed. So I squeezed myself between the wall and the bunk and climbed into her bed with her. And we were just huddled. And it started to walk in.
Oh.
And from the point of it walking in, my twin and I, that's where we don't remember anything. Everything is black. And that's why we did the hypnosis session with Legend Meets Science to try to see what happened during that time frame.
Wow.
But so we got up. I can't even say got up because I don't know if we even, slept or what it was. We were still in that bottom bunk in the morning, and walked. Oh, sorry, I left my scanner on.
Hope everything's okay.
Sorry.
Bad timing.
But so we got up and walked down the hallway, and there were these big bay windows in the living room, and we looked outside, and this thing was in the backyard, squatting behind this old vehicle that was in the backyard. It made eye contact with us, stood up, turned around, and just walked into the woods.
Wow.
So the hypnosis session was really hard because it brought up a lot of emotion. Yep. I still feel like there's a barrier there. Like I don't remember everything. But what did come out was, I don't know if they're going to put this on there, so I don't know if I should.
Yeah, don't, if you don't have to,
but,
don't.
I mean, I remembered the eyes, but they were like caring eyes, and my face, being rubbed. It's okay. It's okay. Is what I was kind of hearing, but I don't know if it was mouthing
verbalizing it,
or
right.
if it was, I just kept hearing, it's okay. It's okay. And that's what the hypnosis session brought up.
Wow.
But I don't recall. There's still like a lot of darkness there that I couldn't get through.
Couldn't get through because you block it.
So my twin, she was going to do the hypnosis session too, but yeah, there's where the 3 trailers are. That you can see there's nothing but woods back there. It's
wow.
It's swamps and apple orchards and farms back there.
Yep.
And if you look kind of I can't see it here, but see that little house on the right-hand side?
Oh, way
On the
over to
bottom?
the edge of the street. Yep.
That's
Oh,
my
I see. Yep.
grandparents. That's my grandparents' house.
Oh, okay.
And my mom, when she was a little girl, when we had shared our encounter with her, when we said, what happened?
What happened? Yeah.
She told us about an encounter she had in those same woods when she was a little girl living in that house, where she was building a snowman in the front yard. And my grandfather was coming out of the house, and the dog bolted out of the front door and ran across the street. And across the street, this big hairy thing stood up out of the snowbank and ran into the woods with the dog chasing after it.
Wow.
So it was those same woods.
And so, all right. So let me put this together real quick, because I'm trying to, I mean, that's a lot to take in. And I thank you, first of all, as a human. I just totally thank you for sharing that. I can see how it's affected you. And I didn't know it was, no, I know. I didn't understand it as taboo. I understand it as remarkable. So I apologize for my ignorance, but it's like, when you're a researcher like myself and yourself, when you hear bits and pieces of this, you're like, obviously it's an obvious question in a sense, you know what I mean? But I didn't understand what it carried, and I apologize if I put you on the spot. You know what I mean?
That's okay.
Because that's definitely not what my goal was. So your sister and your mom are 100% knowers.
You want to hear the crazy part?
Your mom don't believe.
No, she does.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, living here in New Hampshire, where we live now, we live in a log cabin in New Hampshire. I know people are always like, okay, one family member had an encounter, but this is actually 3 generations. We had a computer training company out of the house, and my office was in one of the back rooms, and I had told my daughter, hey, I have to make a phone call, be quiet, you know the rules, So I'm on the phone, and all of a sudden she is banging on the door, screaming. And I'm like, I'm trying to cover up the phone, like, gosh, she knows I'm working.
Right.
So I take a stapler and I throw it at the door, like
I've done this. Yes.
I'm working. So finally, she just kept going, that I just finally had to tell this guy on the phone. I'm like, I'm sorry, my daughter's here and something's going on, and I'll call you right back. So I opened the door. Of course, I'm going to yell at her, like, what are you doing? Mom's working. Yeah. She clung on to me so hard. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? And she told me a big hairy man walked by the window of the cabin.
That's crazy.
So it's just her and I home. And this was before I had gotten into, doing anything with the BFRO or Bigfooting or anything. I mean, I've always had a passion for trying to get answers and finding out more. Sorry, my dog.
No, sorry. No sorry.
So trying to find out, more, all that I could. But when she had her encounter and she told me that the big hairy man just walked by the window, all these things are going through my head, like, oh my gosh, what are we seeing?
Right.
So I wish I had known then, like what I know now. Like I would have gone out and looked for tracks, or I would have looked for hair, or I would have looked for, I would have done something.
Yes.
She had grabbed onto my sweater, because I'm like looking out the window and I'm like, was it a bear? Was it a bear? And she was like, it was a big hairy man and he walked into the woods.
That's
so
crazy.
I said, well, I'm going to go outside and see if I can hear anything. And she was just hanging off the back of my sweater, not letting me go outside. So I'm looking, but I don't see anything. And then that's when I just started getting all this, like, okay, what are we seeing? I really need answers. And that's why I do what I do now. I love talking to people about their encounters. I'm seeking those answers. Like I need those answers.
Yeah, no,
what was it?
Yeah, it's mind blowing. Now, other question I have. All right, so I'm going to go through this little series of questions. How old was you and your twin when you had that experience?
We were
The first one.
6. It was actually our 6th birthday.
That's crazy. First of all, I didn't. That. Wow.
So,
and how about your mom? Do you know how old your mom was?
I'm not sure actually. She
Just
was young.
curious.
I mean,
Right.
probably around the same age.
And
then
how old is your
my daughter was 5.
I mean, all right. So, for instance, you know Dave McCullough?
Yep.
Okay, so Dave McCullough came out and did an investigation with me on my property. All right.
Okay.
We had this, and I'm going to get to the point quickly without the details. We'll talk about the details another time. But we did this investigation, and we, I showed him all the stuff. He was pretty blown away with the property, the way things were, the things that I found, stuff like that. And when we were done, and I've said this on my show before, we heard what was the samurais talking from like the Sierra Sounds. And they were like within 75 yards from us. There was 2 of them, one over here, one over here. They were talking
so cool.
back. It was amazing. We were all bagged up. Backpack was on. We were leaving the woods. They literally walked us out. I had nothing but a phone that I was reaching for. And then I was afraid I'd get killed or they would stop. That was the real thing, is I didn't want the experience to go away. And I knew I had Dave McCullough with me and another woman who was an author and a folklorist of the area. And they did this whole thing. And then when they got done, there was like a pop or a wood knock. Again, I don't think they walk around with the ideal stick hitting the ideal tree. I think there's a mixture of both, right? That's just me. And the one on the right was like, oh, and then he got done and made like a tree knock sound. And then the one on the left, which was much bigger and more guttural, was like, whatever language they were talking, and made that same pop sound. And then it stopped. And Dave goes, I think it's time for us to go. I think they basically just walked us out.
Wow, that's cool.
And this was in my backyard. No, it's crazy. It was in my backyard, right? So I get out and I turn around to the woods and I go, thank you guys. Appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Like I always do. I always talk to them. I leave them gifts, the whole 9 yards. I have a whole connection with them. And he looks at me and says, one of the most profound things I've ever had since I've considered myself more of a researcher was, I think they're here because of you. And I was like, the hell's this guy talking? What do you mean? He goes, you feel a connection to them. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, you think they don't feel a connection to you? He goes, when he said that, and now here you are talking about it in a sense where, I mean, come on now, you moved over to the next state, your daughter's having an experience, your sister, your mom, you're talking the same age type of thing. So these are the types of things, like, this is where I draw the comparison a lot to the paranormal world, if I may. And a lot of these things, you'll hear the same things. You'll hear the same things where you're like, wait a minute, everybody has their first experience at a very young age, probably because we're more open than we are as humans, right?
Probably.
I mean, as adults, because adults, we get cluttered with all this garbage called life sometimes. Not garbage. I like my life, but you know what I mean? All the adult stuff. This adulting thing ruins everything. No, I'm just kidding.
It doesn't it?
It really does. But you get my point, is what I'm trying to say is, sometimes you draw comparisons to this weird side of things where you just like that, like mind blowing, that it's all, 5, 6 years old, females, you know what I mean? Same family, different state, you start drawing that and you're like, man, that's awfully coincidental when people like don't go through life and ever get to see, you know what I mean? Like I haven't seen, and I've been like right there.
Right.
So mad at you girls. No. But I think that's amazing.
I mean, I didn't realize how, I don't want to say traumatizing it was.
Yeah.
But the hypnosis session just brought out so much that I still feel like there's more there that needs to come out.
Yes. Usually is.
But that blackness just wouldn't go away. I just kept getting sucked back to the bed. So
you were scared during that time for a reason.
I was terrified.
Where do you know when and where that's going to be showing, so my audience can hear that?
I know they're still filming bits and pieces of it, so I'm not sure.
And say the name again.
Legend Meets Science 2.
Legend Meets Science 2. So let me put that in my comments, because I remember Legend Meets Science. That's
Doug Highcheck.
Doug Highcheck. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, my sister was not able to go through the hypnosis session because that was always my goal and dream was to do the hypnosis session as 2 individual sessions and then do a comparison of our sessions to see. But we were both military. We were in for Desert Storm. So she experienced some stuff. And I don't know if I should say, but she's going through some PTSD. She's been diagnosed with PTSD. Yep, so I had asked her, did she think that maybe her PTSD diagnosis had something to do with what we encountered as kids? Mm-hmm. And, she said she didn't think so, but she didn't know, but she's not in the Bigfoot community. She doesn't do anything with Bigfooting. She actually doesn't even like talking about it. And I begged her to do this for me and to do the hypnosis and things like that. And she was ready to go. But after speaking with the therapist said, due to her current, diagnosis, that he didn't want to stir anything up and
understood
cause any other issues. So she did not go through the hypnosis session.
Understood. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for both your service.
Thank you.
I was 11 Bravo. Yeah, I was 11 Bravo myself. I didn't see any action, but I have a lot of friends that I've literally pulled out of their house and brought to the VA to save their lives. And it's a very traumatizing thing. And I could see where that would mix and mingle for her, and that could be very dangerous. So
yeah,
I'm glad she's working on that and being safe. And you know what I mean? It's so my next question to you would be so for some reason you were drawn to Bigfoot. So in your mind, maybe in this black area, right? You know it was a Bigfoot because you see what I'm saying? In other words, if you
saw it.
right. But that's where you're naturally going to. It's not like, this is real, because that's where your mind is telling you that you need to be to the point where you're doing, hypnosis and stuff, trying to find out the truth of this black area. In other words, you see this hairy man, you're like, oh, an intruder. That would be normal reaction, right?
Well, because you could see when I look back now, knowing what I know now with Bigfooting, I think that it was a female. Because you figure with the size of because when she stood in the trailer, her head was just at the door, and she took up the door. Like you could see the light shining over her shoulders.
Right.
So when you think about the size of the door and the width comparison, either a juvenile or a female. So I don't think it could have been a male, but the door was like ripped off
it was re-broken after your mother.
It was broken. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how my mom closed it that night, but
maybe a juvenile female.
Right. So we don't know.
Maybe she must have watched you from the wood line playing with your sister and was like, man, I need some of that because
I need some friends.
Right. I mean, everything's fine. I'm here. I'm just busting in your house. Do you want to play Barbies? Like, no. That's a huge no right now. If you show up around 6 in the daylight, PM-ish, so anyways, that's an amazing story. And I just thank you for sharing that with us, because I could tell it is absolutely emotional. And I can see why, because I get with my stories. Like I've been in situations where I've been flanked 3 different times by myself in my backyard. And I try to tell people, and I just shared a story with you when I heard that growl after being big and brave. And this is my property. That's your property. We'll respect each other, the whole story. And then I'm going, what the hell am I doing? I'm an idiot. Get to the street. Someone's going to kill you. You know what I mean? So, and I'm literally out there with my hands on my knees, like hyperventilating, like, what did I just see? What did I just hear? What just happened? All this stuff. And it, and I've seen ghosts, and ghosts haven't had that effect on me. It's very weird. I think it's more because it's a physical presence. You know what I mean? It could, physically, feel like it could rip me from limb to limb, even though it could have many times and hasn't. It's just that fight or flight that we're born with, and that's in us. You know what I mean? Well, I hope you get all the answers you want. I'm definitely going to be looking for Legend Meets Science. I like high check stuff anyways. I like I like a lot of his work, the way he kind of goes about it scientifically, in a sense, because I'm a little bit of everything. I don't know if you've noticed that. I'm a little scientific. I'm a little more open-minded than a lot of researchers. So I just believe in turning every stone, everything I could find, shake every tree. You know what I mean? Knock on every door. And I'm not saying that nobody else is. It's just that we have different methods and not beliefs, because I had this conversation with Alex Petikoff. If everybody missed that show, March 19th, it was a pretty cool show. Alex is a friend of yours.
Yep.
Right. And because I know you guys have done some research together. The other thing is you're a BFRO researcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can I ask you a question? Actually, I'm going to jump off what I was going to say and jump to the BFRO, because this is what happens to me when I don't take my medicine. No, just kidding. You just never know.
I'm all over the place too. So
we are going to get nowhere tonight, everybody.
Right?
Welcome. Real quick, let's do this since we're jumping around. Arthur says, being an eyewitness, and this is going to tie in with the BFRO question I have. Yourself, how do you assess the credibility of other eyewitness accounts? So, when you go out for the BFRO or whatever the case might be,
it's really hard. I have, like, if you look at the BFRO website, we have 16 public cases. That's it. When in reality, we have hundreds and hundreds of cases. And right now, I have open probably 40 cases right now open, not including the ones that I haven't assigned or handled yet. Like, I don't know. It's so hard to see, but I have a map of New Hampshire and it's got all the pins on it.
I think I have it up here.
There's hundreds. Did I send you that? Yeah.
Yes.
So there's hundreds of, and unfortunately there's white ones on there too. So that makes it a little hard to see. I tried to color code them by class.
Gotcha.
But there's hundreds of cases within the state, and it's just the people here are so, it's not like it's taboo. It's just like they don't want anybody to know.
Yes, they're still there.
Privacy for people here is like key. So they don't want their information out on the website. They don't want people to know. I've had some really good cases that I wanted to go and do a site visit, and the person was like, no. I don't want my neighbors to even know you're here. I just wanted you to know that what we encountered. So we have a lot of that. So that's why there's not a lot of public cases, but we do have hundreds of reports in the database. But as far as being an eyewitness myself, I think that makes it a little bit harder because I'm seeking those answers. So I'm looking for that proof. So I try to be open-minded, but, I know everybody's going to be mad at me, but like stick structures and things like that, I have a hard time with.
Don't you come here on my show talking like that.
That's why I said, just because, we live here in New England and trees break. I mean,
Speak freely, Crystal. Speak totally free. But everybody know. All right, so here's the theory on this with us. Seeing how you open this Pandora's box, Crystal. No, I'm just kidding. I've already explained to people that, the different researchers, Alex, yourself, and one of the things that you said that is a brilliant point, and I don't know if it was just an out for you or not, but I thought it was a brilliant point. Honestly, you said structures don't come out that good in pictures.
They don't.
Meaning you can't see. And I went a step further because this is what I do. The audience can't see what I saw. They can't. Right. So for me to go, this is evidence. It isn't. I've never seen a Bigfoot make it. You'll see all my podcasts. I've never watched a Bigfoot make it. As a matter of fact, I'll only tell you that I'm a 95%er. And the reason why is because he's not stood up in front of me. I have not laid eyes on him. I have been growled at. I've heard the samurai talks. I've been flanked 3 times. I've had things thrown at me. I've had all this stuff and structures, pardon me, puts me at a 95%. That's what it puts me as. So I'm just trying to be as honest and scientific as I possibly can.
I think samurai chatter would definitely.
Oh, it was amazing.
Put it over the top.
It was absolutely 100% amazing. And Alex got on me about it. You're always supposed to have a recorder on. And I'm over here going, yeah, if I did, he wouldn't have done nothing. That's your mentality, right? You're like, you know, that frequency talk and all that. So whatever. I just try to justify being an idiot. I don't know what to say. I was frozen when that
You know,
conversation
it's hard
was
though
going on.
with the recorders too, because we live here in New England. The leaf litter is so
Yes.
loud.
It's so loud.
I was out on an expedition and we heard clear as day a whoop. And I was so excited. I had my recorder. I was like, yeah, we got this.
Right.
Could not hear it over the
Couldn't
leaf
hear it
litter.
all. And
At
I
all.
had somebody, I was doing a YouTube live out in the woods, and some lady comes on berating me on how horrible of an investigator I am because I'm not quiet. I said, you understand that there's leaves underneath my feet right now, right? Like literally like 4 feet from me, tops. You know what I mean? Like you can hear that way louder than anything. I'm not just trudging through here like a meathead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. The recorder does pick it up and it seems to amplify it.
Magnifies it, especially if
Mhm.
you're on a go. I don't know what this evidence is here. Oh, here we go. I didn't have this put aside for you. It's actually in my inventory. So no, I'm not causing trouble. Okay. This one I showed Alex too. You see the bends and stuff like that. This is like
Right.
a 9 foot long, 6 foot deep. It has a little slouch in the middle. And he goes, I don't know. People do weird things, but I can't really tell you what that is. And I was like, all right, that's good enough from you. I'll take that answer. You know what I mean?
Well, the
'Cause
thing that's tough is like I've been living in this cabin now for 22 years. And there's like these sticks leaning up against a tree out by the stream.
Yeah.
But they have been there forever and they
Right.
look the same. So it's hard to say, you can't say like how old something has been there. People might get mad, but I'm a trapper too. I do trap.
Yep.
And you know, you set up sticks and you set up all kinds of stuff for trapping. What's to say some of the stuff that people are seeing is not from a long time ago?
Correct. No, exactly. And that's a lot of the things. And this is the
That's
cool
an
thing about,
interesting one.
yeah. So this is the cool thing that I do. So this is on my property. This is what I call the dream catcher. I found it in 2021. I went out there and stood there frozen looking at this crazy thing. Okay. And then afterwards went home and did research and found out that Christopher Noel from your neck of the woods up there, I think
Yep,
it's
I know
Vermont,
Chris.
Texas. He wrote a book about it, and look at his cover.
It looks almost identical, honestly. I was
Correct.
actually thinking he came out to your location and
it was like, Richard, I've taken a picture. Let me build it first. No, but it was profound for me because that book it came out in 2016. My structure I found in 2021. So I guess my point is this: whenever we do these things and I find these structures or whatever they might be, I reach out to like the Vogel brothers. I reach out to like Mike Trainer. I don't know if you know Mike.
Yep.
You know, really logical, level-headed people that have a lot of knowledge about the outdoors. The Vogels, I could ask them. I could show them a piece of poop, and they'll know what animal did it. You know what I mean? They're like,
Those guys are awesome.
They're unbelievable, and they're just a great resource. And that's my point, is that we don't just go, hey, Bigfoot did this or Bigfoot did that. We're like, what is this? And who should I pick from my list to call and try to see if they've had this experience before? Like the hut that I showed you, which I call the hut, is all right. So I'm going to show you something. You ready? And then I'll get to the hut. All right. I don't know why these are so far apart. Oh, here we go. So this is me on the right. You see the white shirt on the right?
Yep.
All right, that's the suspended tree above me. I thought was pretty cool, right? This whole thing, right? It's needled in, whatever. We don't need to get into that crap. But if you look over my shoulder, left side of the picture, my right shoulder, you can see the dream catcher. You see it?
Yep.
You can see it. It's right there behind me, huh?
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, wait a minute.
Well, this
now,
way,
wait.
I'm not saying that all stick structures.
Oh, yeah, no. I know you're not, because you sent me a picture of one, and I'm going to share that in a minute.
So I have a couple really good ones, and I do have to say that I'm still up in the air. I won't say that they are or aren't, just because we don't know.
Because we don't know, and I'm not claiming to see. I watched Bigfoot make this. I have no idea who made this. I don't know where it came from. I'm just telling you, I don't believe the magic whirly wind did it. That's all I'm going to say. Now watch.
Did it.
Yeah, the whirly windigo. Now watch this. You ready? Everybody focus. Left side picture, blue shirt. Suspended trees above me. Look behind me.
Oh, yep. More broken branches.
No, that's the dream catcher broken in half.
Oh, wow.
Do you see it like a letter A?
Yep.
Now look at all the trees that you saw in the dream catcher. Same shoulder, same suspended tree, right? Years later, they break it, they take it down. That's the crazy though, right? So I'm over here going, okay, how did it get broken like that? It's snapped right in the middle. You know what I mean?
It's so hard because pictures
I know.
don't do them justice. It's the
I
same with
know.
tracks.
I know. I agree 100%. This is what I'm saying. I wish you could see what I saw, because then you'd be maybe a little frantic like me, where we just saw the dream catcher and now it's broken in half. And it's like, it's mind blowing. But anyways, I think all of it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like every bit of this conversation is amazing. Every bit of this research field is absolutely 100% amazing. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Like, think about it. Now, how long have you been with the BFRO?
I've been with the BFRO since 2015.
Oh, okay. So you've done some cases, right?
So I have done a lot of cases.
So give me the typical answer to the typical question. The best case ever.
So one of my favorite, there's a couple good ones here in New Hampshire, but my favorite case, and unfortunately this gentleman did not want me to come out to his location because he was a police officer and did not want his neighbors or his coworkers or anybody to know that he had reported a case to the BFRO. But he and his wife were sleeping one night. I believe it was summer. He had the windows open and he heard this weird noise outside his window. And his first thought was, oh my gosh, I left the dog outside. So he gets up and goes downstairs and the dog is in its crate in the kitchen. And he's like, well, what the heck was that noise? So he goes, he opens up the back door to go out onto the back porch, flips the light on. And as soon as he flips the light on, this commotion kicks off in the back, trees shaking, all this loud noise going on. And he panicked and ran back in the house. And he actually could hear like footsteps running up to the porch.
Oh boy.
So he slammed the door and he turned the light off and went and got his gun. And my question was like, why didn't you look out the window and see what it was? And he said, he goes, I just had this feeling that it was on the other side of the door waiting for me to open it. He said, I was terrified. So he did not go to sleep that night, but the commotion, to me, I think that he had a compost pile in his backyard. So I don't know if that had drawn them in or they were passing through. But I think what happened was, I think he startled a family pack and it was the juvenile that was outside his bedroom window. And when he turned the light on, the commotion was like a distraction. Like, hey, look over here, look over here. So, and that was probably one of my favorite cases.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because the way they react sometimes, like when you're talking to them, right? So I've recently started getting into, not taking cases, but people calling me up and then going out and looking. I guess you call it taking case. I don't know. Anyways, I go to the area where you can research. And sometimes, that interview of the witness really is the most powerful thing, I think, of the investigations. You know what I mean? And besides, walking around the corner and he's standing there looking at you, but most times, obviously that ain't a thing. You know what I mean? Let's see. Arthur again is along the same lines of our conversation. What methodologies do you use during field investigations to ensure you gather reliable data? So, I think the interview perhaps might be, would you agree, would be one of the main pieces?
Yep. Just speaking with the individual, really, a lot of the cases that I get, unfortunately, are older cases. So I'm still waiting for that really good, hey, I just saw something, get your butt over here and check it out. People are so hesitant here to report them. I think it's becoming more like open, like people now will start reporting. I mean, I didn't even know, living on, here in New England, that there's big Bigfoot communities and stuff,
Oh,
Facebook.
yes.
I should say the very first thing I ever searched for in the 90s when I got a computer and we had the internet was Bigfoot. That was my first search.
That's crazy.
So,
Yeah.
but I didn't even know that these communities existed. And then Facebook comes out and I find out that Ohio has this Bigfoot conference. And I was like, what? A Bigfoot conference in Ohio?
Right.
And then that was the closest one. Of course, the West Coast has tons. So
Right.
then I found out that Bob Gimlin was going to be going
Mm-hmm.
from the Patterson Gimlin film. And I was like, I have to meet him. So that was my very first conference. But that, and how I got into the BFRO, sorry, I'm jumping around a lot.
No, go ahead.
But how I got into the BFRO was finding Bigfoot was coming to New Hampshire.
Right.
And my daughter had her encounter. So I had sent an email because they were looking for witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent an email and they invited us up to the town hall. So we went up to the town hall and they were up at Brenton Woods is where they were. And my daughter shared her encounter. And we did have producers come down here to the house, but due to the distance and things like that, it wasn't feasible for them to come down this far. So they did all of them up north. But as we were getting ready to leave the event, I was pushing the door open and I stopped and I said, I have to go talk to Matt Moneymaker. And my daughter was like, I just want to go home. And I said, nope, it'll be just a few minutes. I need to go talk to him. And I just walked up to him and everybody was closing down and he was getting ready to go and eat. And I said, Matt, I said, you don't have any current investigators within the state of New Hampshire. What do I need to do to become an investigator for you? And he gave me an interview. We sat down and talked, and I think we talked for like an hour. And then he said, welcome aboard. He said, one of the things you had to do was meet me and you're good to go and welcome aboard.
Nice.
So that's cool. And that's how I got into it. And I tell people, if you have that feeling and that passion and, just, you got to take the steps sometimes to do what you want to do. And me stopping and walking back in through the door and going and talking to him has been a life changer.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a calling for you, to be quite honest. I mean, I meet a lot of people and I talk to a lot of people, as you do, I'm sure, yourself, different paracons and different Bigfoot conferences and stuff. And some you can tell that it kind of around the edges. Some you can tell are, different levels in a sense. Let's just put it that way, right? Not anybody's better than anybody. I'm just saying different levels of maybe not interest, but passions too, you put them all together and it becomes a calling. And I think that's truly something that's one of your callings. I can honestly say that as a human. I think that I believe that now after talking with you. And it's the same as me.
I love it. I have an interest in, the paranormal. I was a paranormal investigator, UFOs, awesome. Cryptids, you name it. If it's unusual, I'm fascinated by it, and I will talk your ear off about it.
No, I'm the same way, and I live right in the Bridgewater Triangle. Have you ever been to the Bridgewater Triangle?
No, I was actually going to do a camp out a while back with Dave McCullough and everybody from like Squatchachusetts and stuff, and I don't know what happened, but I didn't end up going. And I'm hoping that one of these days they do have another one because I'd love to get out there. Have you had Ronnie LeBlanc on?
No, I haven't had Ronnie on. Nope, I haven't had Ronnie. I'm too little to have Ronnie on. I'm just a little guy. I saw his picture the other day. He was in is it Ohio or Tennessee?
He's in Ohio right now.
Yeah. Do you see the one with the middle fingers?
Yes.
I said, Ron, I go, Ronnie, how Massachusetts of you, bro? out there in Ohio, give everybody the finger.
That's funny. No, I did see that.
Yeah, I've talked to him a couple times, and he's a very nice guy, and I haven't pressed the issue of having him on. I'd love to have him on because we're all local people, and what that does is it'll draw more people out to be more comfortable with us that will, maybe not be so private in a sense, but
Right.
I get the private because when I had my experiences, I called my buddy. I was like, he already knew his story and it was in the same area. And I said, hey, what do I do, man? And he's like, do a gift and stump. And I said, all right, I'll do a gift and stump. It sounds weird, but whatever, guy. You know what I mean? So I did a gift and stump. And there's a whole story about me holding up my oatmeal raisin cookies out to the woods and telling them they're my favorite cookies. And I'm going to leave them here on the stump. And if you need them, you come eat them, And like 2 or 3 days go by, nothing happens. And I'm like, I call my buddy up. I'm, basically like, dude, you're full of, And he's like, just leave them, dude. He goes, is anything eating them? And I said, well, no. And he goes, well, what's that tell you? And I said, I don't know. Nobody likes my oatmeal raisin cookies. And he's like, no, man. He goes, just pay attention to what's going on. And he was right because days went by and no birds, no squirrels, nothing touched it. And I'm like, why wouldn't they touch it? They should have eaten it. And I put these little saplings on each side to see if a squirrel came up and hit the sapling or a bird was hopping around and hit the saplings, trying to figure out if it was just being picked up. Clear the bottom of the stump. You know what I mean? And I go out there after 3 days and now I'm mad at Bigfoot. Supposed Bigfoot, and I'm like, hey, it's my favorite damn cookies, right? Meanwhile, my neighbor's like, okay, he's just locked the doors again. And I'm like, hey, these are my favorite damn cookies. You haven't touched them. And the very next day I come out and the cookies are gone. And there's a perfectly, and I have pictures of it, perfectly torn piece of tree lichen. It's ripped off a tree and it's placed right between the saplings. And I'm crawling around looking for crumbs, trying to answer the questions. No, really. You already know the wind didn't blow it there and make it land perfectly between the saplings. I already know that. I already go through the process. But during these things, the paranormal world, et cetera, we tend to reach out for the rationale, right? I mean, if you're not seeking attention, pardon me, anybody who is. But, you start going, wait, this doesn't make sense. How did that piece of lichen get there? You know what I mean? It's like, well, this is what you wanted, isn't it, dude? There was not a crumb. There was nothing. And I did find an impression underneath my chain link fence as if it stepped there and leaned. It's all compost. There's no way I'm going to get any scientific evidence. It's not going to happen. So I tell everybody that. It's all compost. It's different story, different animal. And it was gone and a piece of lichen was sitting there. Like perfectly placed. It was perfectly torn. I can't tear a piece of lichen off a tree. It was amazing. And I have pictures of that. So that was my gift, and ever since then I've had 2 other gifts. And, the third one was kind of questionable, so I don't share it as much. But the second one was a nut that wasn't on my property. And I didn't find any trace of that nut until like 2 or 3 years later with Mike Trainer down on the Taunton Riverbank, about a mile, like I said, right from my property, my house. And there it was. And I said, there it is. And he's like, what? I said, that's that picture of the nut. I showed you the nut. And he didn't know where it came from either. And Mike knows a lot about the outdoors. And there it was. A couple of years later, I found one of them on the banks of the river, a mile from my house. Yeah. So I knew that was a gift. So yeah. So those are the kind of the things, you know what I mean, that you kind of go to, right? I think
that's why gifting and stuff, I don't want to have any, I don't know if you've ever heard, maybe I shouldn't say. I know somebody, I'll just say that, who had a gifting stump set up, and they were gifting and gifting and gifting. And then when they stopped gifting, they started having all kinds of issues with like the house getting hit, stuff happening. Like now they were mad that the gifting stopped.
But to get gifted again. That's an interesting story. Yeah, that's an interesting story. Yeah, that's so I guess my point to that whole thing was, so I was reluctant as well. We'll go back to that question in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I do have an answer for that.
Yeah, I saw you look. So yeah. What's up, Ronnie? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so I was reluctant when that happened, and he kind of sent me over to this author, and she kind of introduced me to Dave. For a while, she, took her over a year. She's like, have Dave come out and do an investigation, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I didn't really want to share it with anybody. My story at that point was almost a decade old. You know what I mean? Like, right. I had kept many things in. My kids were growing up there. I was divorced from my first wife. We share the property. I didn't want to just anybody going over there for one. It was human reasons. And then it was like, after a while, I was just like, I don't really want anybody, maybe he's going to think I'm a weirdo, and then I got, that feeling, I guess, is kind of natural in a sense. And then I started opening up more and more to closer friends, people that were over the house. I was like, come on out in the woods. I want to show you some stuff. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, okay. But that's what I did. And then I really opened up in 2022. I always mention them during my shows. We lost our baby boy, Jack, was stillborn.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And so he was, when we lost him after my, a little bit of a breakdown, and you go through all that process, and you always go through that process, but the heavy grieving part of it. I wanted to follow my passion, and my passion was what I've been experiencing for a decade. I wanted to share it with people, and I wanted to tell them why. And I didn't want to live quietly about it no more. And I didn't care what anybody thought about me. I just lost a child. What could really affect me? Mm-hmm. Right. Really nothing. So once that happened, it was like my baby boy Jack kind of pushed me out into the open so I could let my passions go. So, I always tell everybody I come out of the Bigfoot closet, you know what I mean? Like, here I am, and now, and literally look at me, here I am. Right. No shame, no, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's unbelievably therapeutic. I love having conversations like you and I are having. I love having my audience members join in. It's amazing therapeutic. So to that question, have you encountered a witness you later determined was fabricating this story, which I believe there was a recent one that you were part of. I don't know. Did you realize I was part of that story?
No. Well, I kind of knew through that. Were you out there with Mike Tinsley?
I didn't go out with Mike Tinsley. No,
but
Mike
didn't?
Tinsley.
Oh, you went.
Mike Tinsley and I were verbally connected, and I was in charge of the witness. Well, there it is.
So tell me what happened.
Well, we all know. I mean, it was nothing.
It was nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing, and he was questionable, and I've said that to him, and we've had a nice conversation about it, and I believe that he believes what he believes, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
We decided not to go public and say anything. You know the case we're talking about, obviously.
Correct. And you guys are all much bigger than me. I'm just a little dude.
We just decided not to say anything. I mean, if he starts going out and doing going crazy, like all these different reports and videos and things coming out or saying, I had the BFRO out there and this was a real thing.
Right.
We just decided that it was in his best interest to just keep it quiet.
And that's what I told him.
So I told him. Yeah, because unfortunately, when we came around the corner and I looked up and I saw his Bigfoot.
Was it on the way back or on the way in?
It was on the way back.
I know, me too. I got the same thing. Yes, I got the same thing. I turned around and I went, oh.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. But it was just me at a different time. I wasn't around when nobody else was around.
Right. Well, because he was showing us his sighting location. And I'm like, show me exactly where you were standing. And he told me he was standing on this rock and you couldn't see anything across the water. And then it was on the way back that I just happened to glance over and I was like, son of a dang it. You get so excited because I'm still looking for that really good report to come in, and I'm still looking for those really good tracks to cast. Unfortunately, it's leaf litter or moss. And I was actually out with Alex Petikoff, and we were out at a site, and we happened to find tracks in the creek. They were in the water. You could see the impressions. And photos just don't do it justice.
I know. Yeah, right. Like what? You know what I mean?
Dang it. But, that's why I think, they tend to stick with the waterways. I mean, there's
so much you can do with the waterways, food, hide, everything, get away. I mean, so many things. And that's and I think to answer Arthur's question, that's kind of how you handled it, was kind of let it
we just kind of kept it quiet. We're not going to blast him and and put his character down. Sometimes people do things for attention. I mean, I've actually had people, that I was really excited to talk to. Oh, I had this Class A, sighting, and I'm so excited. I'm like, oh, good. It just happened. I call the person and they're like, yeah, and I pulled out my jack links and I was just sitting there and I'm just like,
oh, really, dude?
Dang it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, really, dude, damn it. Why you got to do that? Yeah, I think, like in that case too, sometimes people, they almost believe things and then they kind of get themselves caught up in something, is the way I put that particular situation.
Yeah, I think he just kind of went crazy and
Yeah.
was having, he was sending me pictures of like other Bigfoots that he'd captured in the woods or like red eye shine or a nesting area. And I'd be like, oh, well, who are those investigators that are with you? And then it was like silence. He wouldn't contact me anymore because he was like, I'm not doing this no more. So, but
Yeah.
unfortunately we deal with them. I've had some cases where, I went out to the witness location, was really excited about getting out there and then, come to find out that, she's mentally unstable and she has a caretaker and
Right.
somebody in California is telling her all these things online. And then I just have to, she would send me, audio clips. Oh my gosh, I hear it outside my window, and she would send me the audio clip and I'd listen to it and go, oh, I'm sorry. It's just a fox. And I hate feeling like I'm bursting people's bubbles or being this negative Nancy. But, sometimes we don't know what people are. I honestly have so many reports still open that I need to close just because I'm not sure how I want to classify them.
Right. Yeah.
Because
right.
I'm not saying you didn't see a Bigfoot, but I don't know what you saw because you don't know what you saw, but you heard something. I have a hard time with those cases and closing those ones out. So I do still have a lot of cases that I need to close out, but I, try to make it a point to talk to everybody.
Yeah, no, and it's the key to do that. You have to do that. And, and Arthur comes back out of left field, I might add, Arthur. I'm surprised at you, Arthur Mills. No, just kidding. Arthur's got an incredible story. Check it out sometime, Crystal, www.candleface.com, with an experience he had with an apparition and ended up changing his life, kind of like much like ours with Sasquatch and Bigfoot. And he's written books. He's an author and everything. But, for me, Arthur, is like what Crystal just spoke about. We don't know what motivates everybody. Is it a blatant type situation where they're doing it? Well, then if you ignore them, they go away generally. But is it somebody that could be, no offense, maybe have some mental issues or, high on the spectrum or something like that? You might not be able to tell. And then you put them on blast and guess what? You're done. It's over. You know what I mean? So it's very hard to do. Plus, you don't want to hurt their feelings in a sense either. So you got to have some kind of empathy here. And then on top of that, you got to be professional. And that's even with myself. I'm not with the BFRO. I don't affiliate with them at all. I do my own thing in my own local area, and I have exposure, so people will reach out to me. But it's just something that it's a very fine line. If somebody came up to me and like she said, the jack leg thing, I might have discouraged him on the spot. I might have discouraged him on the spot. He would more than likely have never called me back because that would have upset me, because this isn't a joke. This isn't a game. These are things that people like Crystal and myself have experienced. I'm not a millionaire because of this story. I have a podcast because I chose to. And guess what? I spent money on my podcast. I don't make money on my podcast. You know what I mean? This is, I'm not going to go out there as like, go out there and just kind of like pretend something. I have plenty of friends. I have thousands of them. I'm good there. You know what I mean? So, it is discouraging, and it does out there. And I'm not trying to beat you up, bro. I'm just trying to have a little chuckle, but no, seriously, like you're right, but you're right by protecting it, and you have to do it in a strategic sort of way.
Now, if he comes back out, and posts like more videos saying Bigfoot this, Bigfoot that, and trying to share, and pull more researchers out to his location, then yeah, maybe we'll come out and say something. But we just didn't want to. We don't know what his mental state is, or
Correct.
So I've had people contact me, and send me a picture and say, if you don't see the Bigfoot family in this photo, we can't talk. Right. And unfortunately, I'll look at the photo and I don't see anything in that photo.
Right.
And I politely said, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing what you're seeing, not saying they're not there. But then the person was like, we can't talk, and just dismissed me.
Yeah.
So I've had people tell me that, Bigfoot were aliens, and that this female Bigfoot grabbed him and had laser red eyes, and now he sees Bigfoot everywhere. And he wanted me to come up to his location. And I said, maybe another time.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe another time, like no time.
So
that's another time.
And I feel bad because I really love talking to people about Bigfoot.
Right. But you got to be careful and you got to be smart. And, you have to enter things into a database. Other people are going to read this. Other people are going to see this. It is, that's the way it's going to go here. It's so you're not drawing just off your own feelings, unfortunately. And Sam's pretty paranormal. I hear you getting storms. Be safe. Be safe, please, Sam. But yeah, you have to be smart. You have to be strategic. You can't,
right. Well, that's like our database has 16 public cases. That's it. But the rest are all private.
Right.
So
yeah, crazy, right?
Just because they don't want people coming onto their property,
That's what I just told you. Same thing. That's what happened. And I slowly started trusting people. And you see my opening there where I'm talking to Matt Moneymaker from WBZ and iHeartRadio, and Annika Noel. She's the actress from Bold and the Beautiful and all that. Well, after Dave came along, Dave called me up and said, hey, I've been talking to this guy, Matt Moneymaker. He's heard about your story. He's interested in doing this on your property. Would you be open to it? I'm like, I don't know. Give me like 48 hours. I got to soak all that in. Yeah, because I got to think of how to be strategic to where no one else knows what's going on. And, it's not really the location. Like, you can't show this picture. I don't want you showing it from the street. You got to show, once you get out, side yard's fine. Woods is fine. You got to make these rules. And you got to think about it, not just go, I'm going to be famous. Yay. That ain't what it is, man. This is for me, it's a serious thing. I'm passionate about the connection I have to my property. Again, I could have been killed 10 times over by now. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that's what they're out for. You know what I mean? I believe that we coexist together and we have mutual respect for one another. And that, as weird as that might sound to you, it doesn't sound like that to me because this has been part of my life for so long. So I try to explain that to people that I've been dealing with this for a long time. So when Matt Moneymaker came out, he was very respectful. And, I was like, like at first he pulled out his phone and his little microphone because that's what they're trained to do. And I said, put that away. We're not out back yet. Oh, sorry. But that's the way you kind of got to do it.
Right.
So I understand where other people are coming from. You know what I mean? So, I'll tell you more about that backstage when we're done here. I got of that case that we were just talking about. Henniker.
Well, that's scary.
Well, yeah, no. I did not. What's this here? Thank you so much. Oh no, I think there was a tornado. Oh God, Sam, please let us know. An investigation is a strategy game requiring careful planning, critical thinking, and tactical maneuvers to uncover the truth. Absolutely everything we just discussed. I think I agree with you 100%. And it could be the same for the paranormal world. So tell me about the paranormal part of you. Have you had, you said you investigated?
Yeah, I actually grew up in a home in Littleton that had a ghost in it. It was haunted. Never anything, malicious or anything like that. Just things would happen. Like, I guess one of my encounters was my babysitting money just like was gone, and we were going to the mall. We were going down to Portsmouth to go to the mall, and it was a big mall. And I just remember like, oh, I need my money to go to the mall. My money was like nowhere to be found. I'm like, where is I'm ripping my bedroom apart. And I sat down on the bed and I just said, and I knew the gentleman who had passed away, his name was Mr. Roberts. I'm like, Mr. Roberts, if you're here and you can hear me, because we would smell like cigar smoke and pipe smoke. And I'm like, if you're here, please help me find my money. And I went over to my dresser, did something, turned around, and it was sitting on my bed.
Wow.
And I just said, and all I could say was, thank you.
Yeah. Say it. You got to say it again now. Before you were desperate, it was easy to say. Now you got it.
Now I'm like, okay, how did that get there? Thank you.
Mr. Roberts.
So
That's interesting.
yep.
That's
So
cool.
and then I ended up joining a team, and the first time I went to the location was, where did we go? It was up in Gorham. It was a bed and breakfast. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
Right on the main road in Gorham, the big white
Yeah.
one with the big farmer's porch, and
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I can see it right from the road right now. It's right.
It's right on the corner.
Yeah, it is. It's on a corner. I can't remember the road. You know what I keep getting messed up is Bethlehem's up there, and I always get those two messed up because the centers look almost alike.
Oh,
well, at least
yep.
they did back then. Back in the day, they did. Anyways, they probably don't now, but I know which one you're talking about. I know it's the something in.
Yep, and I just can't think. I know a lot of hikers go there, and just at the moment, I just can't think of the name of it. And I'll probably look it up afterwards, and I'll be like, oh, now I remember. But my first, doing a paranormal investigation with this team, we had a psychic come in, and I'm new with this team. I've never been with them before. And she's like, I really want to go in the basement. And everybody's like, I'm not going in the basement. I'm not going in the basement. And I'm like, I'll go in the basement. So I ended up taking her down there, and they had this really old toilet down there where you still pulled the string from, the little box. Yeah. So
yeah.
I said, yeah, and the old bathroom is still down here. And we get this EVP that just said, and I said, yeah, and the old toilet's still here. And the EVP said, and so are you. And so are you.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, whoa.
No, I'm not.
So to me, I don't know. I'm the type of person where I'll be the first one in the attic. I'll be the first one in the woods. I'll be, I just put up this wall and I can just go do things. Yeah. And I don't know if that's the military background in me or now it's just like this passion I have that I need answers. So with the paranormal stuff, it's like, not everything is Bigfoot. Not everything is ghosts,
Right.
But I'm seeking those answers. So I love going out and doing that. It's fun. I miss, we went to this other place. They tore it down recently and I was so bummed about it. It was the Christmas Tree Inn. It's on the way to Winnipesaukee, Guilford maybe, but that place was scary. There was some activity in that place, but it's just wild. I love it.
Now, have you fought a lot of dark type of activity, or
what's that?
Have you found like a lot of dark activity, or just mainly just typical type hauntings?
Just typical noises, things like that.
Right.
So, I try not to let. Yeah, I think it is Guilford is where it was in the Christmas Tree Inn. They tore it down and they put up a freaking storage place. Oh. I was looking to see if we could try to get in there recently, and it's gone. They tore it down.
It's the worst.
Yeah, I was like, darn.
I don't like any of this stuff with that. What kind of technology do you use in your investigations, and how effective have you found it to be? And I'm gonna jump in real quick. Remote viewing, I heard someone say, while looking for Sasquatch.
That would be interesting to try.
Right? I thought you might like that.
That would be interesting to try. I would be one to try that.
Yeah, it blew my mind. So if you get a chance, get on, like I'm on the Get Haunted Network, and the Get Haunted Network they do events and stuff, but they have this whole podcasting network. And one of the gentlemen on there was talking about it. I learned so much just watching all their different podcasts about the paranormal, cryptid, stuff like that. And like me, I'm both. I have guests on for everything. You know what I mean? Basically, I'm going to have a dream interpreter on in a couple of weeks. So
that's cool.
Pretty open and fun, and we just love it. But yeah, I thought remote viewing was a mind-blowing theory, and said that he had gotten results.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I'm like, I need to hear these damn results. Like, I need to know what the heck is going on, because now you, especially with your experience, which you should be careful about though with remote viewing, but still, if you did because you had a I want to say telepathic type message, right? Because you,
because I did. That's what came out.
Right.
it's
That's what's in
okay,
your
it's
head,
okay.
right? Yeah.
But I don't remember mouth
Right.
moving, just it's okay, it's okay. Yeah.
Right. And remote viewing might help you kind of but again, you got to be careful with that too in your situation. So, but anyways, I thought it was cool. What do you think is out there that's working best maybe for both?
I always tried and true bring my recorder that goes with me everywhere.
All right, don't rub it in.
Night And you know what? You turn it on when you get out of the car, before you get out of the car.
Oh, God. That's such a novice. I was so mad at myself. And I'm telling Petikoff that. He's like, yeah, that's why. I'm like, all right, don't bring it up. No, you're right. I think you're right with that. And it would both even, right?
So, yeah, always.
Yeah.
I even doing paranormal investigations, I run the recorder from like the time I start the investigation to the time it ends.
And that's the embarrassing part was I was a paranormal investigator long before this even came into my life. I had a whole family team, and my sister, my brother-in-law, my nieces, my little brother, like it was all a family thing. We did it for years. These are normal rules that you do, and for some reason, the physical thing just threw me off. You know what I mean? And I brain farted in that sense. You know what I mean? So, but I remember reaching for my phone in that situation and really being concerned about. Maybe I shouldn't do this. You know what I mean? Like if they could see me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, what if they stop? This is amazing. And I
Yeah,
remember
that's the hard part. You hear people like, well,
scary.
what if hunters, my husband's a non-believer,
Yeah.
but he supports me.
That's fine.
So
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, good for him.
but he always says that, if hunters see these things, why don't we have a body or why don't we have a dead one? Because your brain is still trying to process what you're looking at. And then with
Yeah.
it being so human like,
Mm-hmm.
do you really take that risk of shooting something?
Right. And I've heard that plenty of
Of course,
times from
he
hunters.
says, yeah, I would shoot it. No, I
Yeah.
don't think you would.
There's two accounts that I have heard of as hunters having it in their scope and saying that it looked so human that they thought they would be murdering somebody and didn't pull the trigger.
Yep. And I have actually talked to hunters too. There was one gentleman I talked to. He actually just found tracks. And just by finding the tracks, he was so traumatized that he will not go hunting anymore. He refuses to go hunting. And I just tried to tell him, I try to tell everybody, if it really wanted to hurt you, it would. So don't let it stop you from going out and enjoying those things that you like to do.
Yep.
So
yep. And the only thing that made me nervous was that I believe there's 3 at my property, and the juvenile scares me because the juvenile acts a little wacky sometimes. So, like the one beating on the tree that night, I believe that was the juvenile. I know exactly what set him off because I remember I pulled the door to the trailer a little bit louder than I usually did, and it was a loud bang. It echoed through the forest. I heard a knock way off in the distance. It was a very slight knock. I hadn't started playing yet. Hi, doggy number 2.
This is Box.
What's up, bud? And then I heard one like seconds later, and it was like right there. I'm like, how did he move up? He moved up fast, and that's why I alerted me to open my door and record, because I'm like, and then I could hear something out there, but it wasn't what I thought I was hearing, because when I put it on my headphones, I could actually hear the footfall, the leaves shuffling, and the stick break or whatever he broke off and started beating the hell out of that tree with. Yeah. So if you guys want to see that picture and hear that video, go over to my YouTube, like and subscribe. Cheap promo. That was good, right? That's what they do on TV, I'm getting
it's always good to have I like to bring out like a night vision. I don't have a flare. I don't have the money for that.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Those things are crazy.
So honestly, when I went on an expedition with Squatchachusetts, they had brought their flares out, and I have to say though, I honestly didn't like using it.
Right.
It's so bright on your eyes that because your eyes have adjusted to the darkness, then you put this thing up to your eye, you're like freaking blind.
Yeah, you are. And then you pull it away, you're like,
and then you're like,
risk.
you just got the dots going, like you just had somebody flash a camera in your face.
Yes.
So I didn't care for using it. I do have a night vision monocular that that I'll bring out with me, but that's mostly, I don't want to walk up to that skunk over there, or it
No,
doesn't it
it's
doesn't
not.
record or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
mean, it would be nice to have some of those tools, but I don't have the money for that.
No, there's so much money involved in this stuff, and the flares are
Mhm.
like, even the decent one I looked up, it was like $2,000, and you have to start there basically. And there is some cheaper
Mhm.
ones that you can get, but then you're like, oh, it's cheaper for a reason, and then you know what I mean. So
Yep.
it's a game. I just, I could probably afford to buy one, but if I mess it up, that's it.
Yep.
I own it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's the scary part. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, now I'm stuck with this piece of crap.
Yep.
I've done that before. So, yeah. And then, like I said, the FLIR, the FLIR, those are huge money. You know
And
what
I've
I mean?
had,
So,
I did have, but it recently broke, a full spectrum camera, like a
oh,
video camera.
I love those.
So I actually would use that on my Bigfoot
Yeah.
hunts too. So it
Yeah.
was like
Full
dual
spectrum.
purpose,
Yes. Love it.
paranormal
Love it.
and Bigfoot. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you tell me the story? I want to hear before we sign off. I want to hear the story about the howls in Conway that I'm going to play.
Oh, that I actually
No,
had researched like Bigfoot. I don't remember where I grabbed that audio file from, but somebody had reported that they were camping along the Saco River in North Conway, and that was a recording that they caught. I wish I could find the person who recorded it, because it's just one of my favorite recordings of a Bigfoot in New Hampshire.
It's amazing.
I've had witnesses tell me that, like I had a buffalo farmer up north. The buffaloes would die, so he would drag it off to the other side of the river and just let nature take its,
Right.
take its course.
Right.
And he was out on his back patio smoking a cigarette, and he could hear the coyotes out there on this buffalo having a field day. And then all of a sudden, this roar came out and just like echoed and vibrated in his chest. And it was so loud, the coyotes all stopped and he could hear them scatter.
Wow.
So that was another one of my favorite ones, about the, feeling. He could feel it in his chest. It was so powerful.
And I've heard that before, that not the sound, but I've heard that. Well, no, I have heard the sound, just not that close to where it was that, reverberates.
Where you could feel it. Yeah, I've talked to several witnesses who have had that, where they feel it.
Yeah. Yes. Hi, Henry. Hi, Henry. Welcome to the show, buddy.
So will I be able to read through these comments later and be able to answer people's questions later?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll be able to do that? Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe, you can do that. Chris Mac Daddy is here. Hello, Chris Mac. Welcome to you, welcome to the show. Apparently, they just entered. You guys need Banter and Richie B alarm clocks. I'm going to put them on my store. I've been talking about this for a little while now, and they're going to be, when my show's on, that you're going to hear a big, loud Bigfoot howl like this one right here. You ready? Check it out. It's going to be on my alarm clock. Do it some more. Oh man. I gotta find mine now.
Can you imagine hearing that while camping?
Oh my! Yeah, I don't know. I don't think no, I don't think so. Nope. Wow.
I wonder if I would go out and see if what made it, or if I would just be like, okay.
Oh boy. That is a beautiful recording. She's right.
I like that one.
All right, I'm going to look for something that's, I think it'll blow. No, not this one, Richard. You already been here. Get rid of that. I move that from the studio. Move this from the studio. I gotta see if I have it actually. I want you to hear this now because they sound very similar. Oh, so this is real quick. That's your structure. All right.
Oh, yep.
I'm gonna look for something. Tell me about this while I look for something. I'm listening. Everybody's listening. I want to hit. My dog would not react well with that. No. Yeah. No, there is not. Is there a way to turn off the frog sounds?
I know it is loud. The peepers are loud.
Yeah, you can clean it up through Audacity and all that stuff. But
Well, that hair sample picture I sent you.
Oh,
that
let
picture,
me go there.
that actually was from the next town over. This one is awesome. This gentleman, he was he owned a quarry and was walking along the quarry, and there's these big giant ruts, and it's all overgrown now. And he was out there just making sure that nobody was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And as he was walking, he kind of like tripped over one of these ruts and he landed on something. Whatever it was, I'm saying it's Bigfoot, stood up and threw him backwards. He landed like 12 feet behind him on the ground.
Oh my God.
He jumped up. He was a big man too. He was like 6'4". He was a big guy. He ran that way to his truck and that creature ran the other way.
Oh.
And when he got to his truck, he had a whole handful of hair. So myself and Jeff Shepard, who was another researcher out of Massachusetts, he came up when we went out to the location. He took us around. And then this was the hair sample I collected from the gentleman's whole envelope full of hair. And I used tweezers, and I took this sample because it looks like there's dried blood on the edges. And I actually just recently submitted this to Darby Orcott's study that's going to be coming out with the DNA studies at North Carolina University.
Yep.
So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping that because there is dried blood on it, they were willing to take a look at it. I'm hoping that they'll be able to pull some evidence off that. Unfortunately, this was my first ever hair collection sample, and I did not realize that I wasn't supposed to put it in a plastic bag.
Correct.
You know, this is all a learning experience. You know,
is.
There's no, I guess maybe there's books out now on step by steps what to do if you find evidence, but at the time there wasn't. So
no, right.
I didn't know. And, you watch all those shows and they're like putting the stuff in the plastic baggies, but I was like, I used gloves and I had tweezers and I was really careful. But then they were like, oh, it's in plastic. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I didn't want to take it out after I'd already put it in there because I didn't want to contaminate it.
Continue handling it. Yeah.
So I left it in the plastic bag, but I'm hoping that because of the dried blood on it, that they will be able to pull something off of that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I wouldn't see why not. You know what I mean? I try to believe. It's hard for me to believe it. Oh yeah. No, that's fine, man. I'm just glad you show up and are willing to listen, bro. That's what it's all about. Like I have a friend of mine, Jay Hughes, was here earlier. I do little things, Crystal, with my show. I do Bigfooting with a fan, and that's how Wojo's become like one of my best buddies out here doing this. He was the Bigfoot with a fan one, and he was a hunter and didn't really believe, and then saw things that couldn't be explained. You know what I mean? So a Bigfoot with a fan too, my buddy J. Lou, and now I have Sasquatch with a skeptic. I'm going to bring someone else out. He's a skeptic, and we're going to bring him out and just see what he sees. You know what I mean? It's nobody tries to convince anybody. We just walk around the woods and try to do certain types of techniques and look, and that's what you do. And then that's where we're at. We're not ever trying to convince anybody. I love the other side, as I call them. I love bringing it. I love it. Just come on out and listen. If it didn't happen to you, don't believe it, I guess, because it's pretty profound. And when I had a ghost walk up to me at 7 years old, turned out to be my grandmother who passed many years before I was in existence. I don't expect you to believe that on ghosts, but I do, because she stood right there damn well in front of me, and I said what she was wearing, and apparently she was buried in those clothes. So I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? I get it. If people don't believe a certain thing, it's okay, man. Nobody's trying to make you believe anything on this show. You know what I mean? We just love having conversation about it, love being open-minded about it. Open-mindedness brings out better researchers. That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Turn off frog sounds. I'm wondering a frog screaming through its vocal. or did they stop? Oh, that's kind of interesting theory. I don't know. I was so
I don't
focused
know.
on
It just that sounded so deep to me
yeah,
that
it was deep.
I don't think a frog could make that deep of a guttural
I'm wondering
sound.
if the frogs were screaming through its vocal, though, the way she worded it, or did they stop? It sounded pretty far
I
off.
think the peepers were closer. That's why they're so loud.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I think but I think what she's saying too is, can you hear? We'll play it again. Actually, hang on a second.
Yeah.
There's my lichen.
Oh, very cool.
That's my lichen. I'm like so proud of that lichen. I love that gift. It's my favorite. My favorite. But I have another recording, and ain't gonna take too long to find. I think it's up on my YouTube as well, and on my TikTok and my Instagram. Do you know Matt Moniz? Matt Moniz is more of a UFO type he's been
I might know him. I'd have to see him.
He's been all around the circuit. He's an investigator as well, a researcher, and all that stuff. And he's been to many paracons, and he's pretty well known. Alex knows him because they do a lot of the paracons together, where Alex will be like the Bigfoot guy, and Matt Moniz is like the UFO guy. But we actually go investigate and doing research together as well. Matt's been all over, like Discovery Channel, Travel Channel, History Channel, like all kinds of documentaries about his life and abductions and things like that. But he also reaches out to me whenever there's something in the local area, and we investigated a sound that sounds almost exactly like your recording.
Oh,
and it was it was down in the towards the Cape, actually, and a lot of like almost like an ocean area, but it wasn't. It was it was out of the way, and the woods were crazy, and it was just like the guy's property that we investigated wasn't where the recording was taken from. It was from across the street. The guy's the guy's security stuff, and he goes, "Hey, bro," to his neighbor, "we need to talk. This is coming from your backyard." And the guy was like, "Oh." It's pretty profound. But let me listen to this real quick one more time. I'm sorry. I just want to pull this up, and then we'll get to some questions, and then we'll call it an evening. But I'm telling you what, I could do this all day. Stop it, Richard.
That went fast. I could talk Bigfoot for
Doesn't
hours.
it? It does. It does. It always goes fast. All right, here's the peepers.
I probably should have clipped that part out.
Yeah, I don't hear any frogs. Woo! That one goes right through you, man. That goes right through you. Well, that was extra sound there, though. That part you want to clean up. Oh, 35 seconds in, I thought I heard something in the background.
Because I don't know the origins of.
Right, I understand. Yeah. No. So, all right. So here's my I think that's I think at 35 seconds I can hear something else. There could be more than one. So maybe I'm wrong. So my thing is this: leave that like it is. I don't care.
That's the way I grabbed it off of the internet like a million years ago.
Raw. I love the raw. You know what I mean? Do not name me, please. Okay. Are you in the ape camp or the forest people? Do not. Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine those people, being in their tent and capturing that and being like, "The hell is that?"
Yeah. No, absolutely. No. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I like it raw like that, but I think there's sections of it you could actually hear something else behind there, and one of them was right around 35 seconds. I hit the timer on. Just keep an eye on that. That's all I'm going to say there. So a gentleman doesn't want to be named. Based on behavior evidence, you in the ape camp or the forest people hominid camp?
Okay.
That's a can of worms.
I'm more of a flesh and beast type creature. I try to stay open because we don't know, and there's so many unusual things. I actually talked to an individual who told me that they were shapeshifters, and they always talk to him and leave him, on recording. He does not see them, but they always leave recordings for him. And because I'm a paranormal investigator too, my question to him was, well, what makes it Bigfoot? Why couldn't it be something else? So if
an
you're,
entity, right?
yeah, there's so many different things out there. That's why, when people always jump to Bigfoot, I'm kind of like, nah, I don't think so. I think Bigfoot is more of a flesh and blood type creature, but I have a lot of friends of mine who are on the paranormal side. So I just try to stay open-minded because we really have no clue.
No, we
So,
don't.
I mean,
And
because what I saw was flesh. It was a
right.
creature. So that's why I lean towards that side of it. But, I've also experienced the paranormal. So,
Right.
there's so many different things out there. That's why I just always say, well, what makes it Bigfoot?
Well, and that's what, for me, no, you're right. And that's, my case is almost exactly as you just described. Okay. I have not seen this. You know what I mean? I have not seen this. So it's like, when I experience all these experiences, I was like, am I experiencing something paranormal? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? Because I have all these things happening. So when that was in its infancy. So as it progressed and it became something that was a physical vocalization with intellect behind, meaning he could see me. I knew he could. The breaking of a tree in one pull became physical within my realm. You know what I mean? That's when I started going, oh, it's right there.
Samurai chatter is really cool too. I would love to hear samurai chatter.
What a gift, man. What an absolute gift. All right, real quick. And I I was out in the woods, okay? And here I am in my own element, man. They're in my property. You know what I mean? Like I'm me, and I don't care who's with me. I'm always me, right? And I'm going because I have the sound, I have the hearing of like a dog. No offense, doggy. But I have the hearing of a dog. And I tell everybody this. I took a DOT physical years ago, and I kept doing this and doing this. The lady goes, "How can you hear everything?" I said, "I heard the frequencies breaking and the beep was gone." No, I understand that, sir. And that was the answer was flesh and blood, yes. And that's where we're at with that. You know what I mean? But I kind of brought up my experience with made it feel like it could have been paranormal. But we understood your question completely. Sorry if we veered off. So for me, I was doing this. I kept going, I'm hearing something out here. I could hear like the shuffling sounds. I hear them. And I'm like, oh, this guy thinks I'm nuts. I'm gonna be the Bigfoot guy, you know what I mean? And then boom, I hear it over here. So now they're in both directions, diagonal, like upside down, triangle. Here we go again, right? And I'm like over here and over here, right? And I kept hearing. I go, you guys can't hear that? And they're like, no. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, I'm hearing something shuffling. It's like at the very distance of my hearing, the very end of it. So the point to the whole thing that made it so important was in the end, here's this guy comes out, he's kind of doing an investigation. I have, the author there, and lo and behold, he hears something. He goes, "What kind of duck is that?" That's how it all started. And I said, there's no ducks out here, bro. I've been here since 2002. I've never seen a duck in the forest. What do you mean? And he's like, no, I can hear that. And then all of a sudden the sound took over right mid-conversation. And lo and behold, there was one over here that started the conversation, went, oh, and then all of a sudden over here in the exact same angle that I was pointing at throughout this whole investigation is where the second one sounded off from. And he was bigger. He was the boss. I could tell he was the boss. This one was the young one, probably asking, what do we do now that we've walked him out, probably? And this dude's over here like, oh, throw something at him, hit him in the head. I don't know. Whatever he was saying. You know what I mean? But the point is I knew what I was hearing this whole time. They were in a strategic formation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what the beauty of it was, is that I didn't look like the Bigfoot guy at the end of it all. It was exactly as I said it was. You know what I mean? So it was really, really cool. And I felt truly gifted at that moment. because that's something that like you're experienced, seasoned researcher, and unfortunately you haven't heard that, but I haven't seen one yet either. So maybe we can do a swap sometime. We'll hook up
I'll
the
hear
samurai.
samurai chatter. I would love to hear that.
Yes. Jessica, you can bring him here. I'm about to wrap up. See, I told you. Here we go. Right? No. She has. I told her. Oh, yeah.
I know. I'm gonna hold it.
Oh. Well, he doesn't need to put on a new outfit. He's an 11-month-old baby that wants to just eat everything. Hi. Oh, hi. You say hi. You say hi. This is Joshua. Hi. Yeah, he's my rainbow baby. He's our rainbow baby, huh? Right? Love you. Say bye.
He heard your voice and got really mad. He couldn't see
You got mad because you couldn't see me? Yeah. I'm done talking about Bigfoot. Yeah, it's over there. Yeah. Can you say bye? No, that's bye. We haven't talked bye yet, have we? No. Ready? Here we go. Woo! I'm right here, baby. I know I'm right here. Do you want to say goodbye with me? You do? Okay, you won't let go. All right. Come here. This is what we do. So, hi, Crystal.
Hi.
This is my world. This is how we do it. Oh, hi. This is how we do it, everybody. Did you have a good time talking with us?
I did. Thank you. It was a blast being here. I'll go through and read everybody's comments too. I couldn't really stay up with them and look at that while I was trying to talk to you. So
yeah, no, I know, and that happens a lot, and we all appreciate that, and everybody understands it here. They're seasoned veterans as well, by the way. You know what I mean? I have an awesome audience and a great setup. I'm very blessed. Now, do you have? I know you have different. You don't really promote though, right? Like a YouTube or anything like that?
I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have an Instagram. I have an Instagram, but I don't ever post anything to it. I have a Twitter. I have all those, but
yeah,
I don't really do much posting. I'm pretty private online. So
yeah, I noticed that about you as well. Now, how do they get to BFRO and send out a report?
If they would like to file a report, BFRO.net.
BFRO.net. Everybody got that?
Yep. And that's where they can file reports. If it's for the state of New Hampshire, we have a database. I can go out and just take a look at new reports coming in and assign it to myself. And then I would be reaching out to the person who filed the report. So
that's awesome. Now, what is the difference between that one and the one Alex Petikoff has? Are they the same? I thought he pulled up.
No, Alex, I believe, is now part of the BFRO. Or I know he has access to the BFRO.
I know he does. But I thought he pulled up
Yeah.
something. I thought there was a different database for New Hampshire alone or something like that. I might be wrong, but I know
we can. It's one big database, and then we can filter it and do by area. So
BFRO.net. If you see a Sasquatch anywhere anywhere really, but we're really interested about New England, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know I am. I think our area and our region is so underrated when it comes to this stuff. Right. I truly do. I truly believe that. You, like you said, you hear about it on the West Coast, Ohio. You start hearing all these different things, and we have a lot of stuff right here.
Yep.
Literally in my backyard.
Yeah, I had a gentleman come up to me in Walmart one day. And he said, my buddy, my license plate's Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So he came up to me and was like, Bigfoot. And I'm like, yeah, don't laugh, but I'm a field researcher. And he was like, oh, no way. My friend just had an encounter the other day. He saw something peeking around a tree. And, would that you be interested in going out to his location? And I'm like, yeah, here's my card.
Yeah, on my way. Yeah.
And the guy refused. He
wouldn't do it.
Didn't want anybody to come out to his property. And I was just like,
Again.
Finally a good class A where I might be able to get some evidence that's, recent. And he was like, nope, didn't want anybody out there.
The beauty of my property is you guys actually have a class A. I think it was from 2018 in Hanson, Massachusetts. And that location, of course, he crossed over by the dump and was going into this area where I've had activity and actually got a picture of a frozen toe. The frozen toe print, excuse me.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was kind of neat, actually. And 2018, I believe, was BFRO. There was one. And that location there is like 3 miles from my property.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and then Mike Trainer actually took, I thought it was for the BFRO because Dave was with him. They actually did the day that we had that samurai talk. That's when I met Mike Trainer. He came to my property and showed me the casting that he took literally like 2 miles from the edge of my property.
Yep.
Right straight through the woods, down on the Taunton River. Boom. It was like right there, dude. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to. I'm like, they're here. You guys think I'm just freaking nuts?
They're here. I mean? They're here.
They're definitely. Well, I would love to get together and investigate with you. And I know you're going to be going to the Charm and Fair Farm, right?
I am. Yep.
I saw you as a presenter there. So, I tried telling, what's funny is I didn't use my banners tonight and I could get myself in a lot of trouble for not doing such a thing. See? Watch us live in New Hampshire. I just got so intrigued with talking with you. But at the Charm and Fair Farm, June 22nd and 23rd, Crystal and I will be there. If you're not there, then you're probably wrong, or you're just not living right yet. You know what I mean? You got to come hang out with us. And I'm trying to put together a superstar investigation. I know we've been talking. I got permission from the farm owner to actually go out on the property if we wanted to that night, by the way, Crystal. I got
wonderful
permission. I told them I wanted to investigate with superstars, and they were like, all right, let's go. But he goes, the only thing is you got to bring me and my daughter out with you. And I'm like, yep, please sign here. Wait, is your daughter a fast runner or a slow runner? Because I need to know that. Because I don't have bait. I don't have to be fast. I just gonna be faster than you, man. You know what I mean? So that's what I always tell Wojo. I don't have to be fast, bro. I just gonna be faster than you. Well, that's awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. That's coming up in June. And all right, you being silly. Yeah, say bye to everybody. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
I'd love you to come back again because we got so much more to talk about.
I know. It just went by really fast.
That means you had fun. That's what happens when you come here. We have a blast on my show, and we're just open and free, and that's the way it is. But we need to get out and investigate. I'd love you to come down sometime and maybe possibly check out the property. You know what I mean?
That would be cool.
I think you would really understand and see a lot of things. And it's not just about tree structures. There's other things there, like even that tree that was physically assaulted, or even the impressions that you find. The river's right there. I have big tree knocks on recording on my GoPro video, and I looked around, I couldn't find the thing, but they were huge smashes. How do you feel about rock clacking?
I recently just heard Cliff Barrickman talking about stick knocks, and he brought up a good point. Hand claps. Gorillas.
The hand clap.
Yep.
Yeah, gorillas do that, and that's why I brought up the chest pops. In the situation of the samurai conversation at the end, I felt those were chest pops. I felt they were like that.
Yep.
And it comes out like a tree knock, and Dave will tell you the same thing because we talked about that. I said, there's no way he had the perfect stick and the perfect tree, and so didn't he 200 yards from each other, 75 probably from us, you know what I mean? But it was absolutely nuts. But yes, I think that a lot of those things we recorded right there on my property on the Taunton River.
That's cool.
It's like, yeah, and I'd love to have you come down. Always an open invite. And either way, I'm going to see you at the Charm and Fair Farm. I might be setting up a little messenger for the people I want to come out and investigate after hours, like Mike Trainer, Dave McCullough.
That'd be awesome.
Oh my God, beasts, right? The Vogels are already in. I already talked to them. Yep, they're already in. I love those guys, man. They've been so good to me, and I'm truly blessed. So listen up. Check it out, man. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. And Mom's trying to make them laugh, so she's making funny faces. Like and subscribe on YouTube. This isn't a dance recital. This is a family show. Didn't I tell you this? This is how this was going to end. Thank you so much for being on our show. We so much appreciate you and all your knowledge. And
thank you, everyone.
Say goodbye. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Meaning the guests or these guys?
Everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube, please. Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Say good night.